Juicy karaage #1.
WoW's Darkest Secret. Let's check this out, boys. Probably half of you guys already seen it, I guess. Hold on, boys. Can you guys hear it? Tell me if it's too low. It's a bit loud. Shit, sorry. One sec, dudes. How long is this? 21 minutes. It's a video game, innit? The Darkest Secret.
I'm going to start this off by saying whatever the hell you do not look in the comment section below. Though I don't usually get many, if any, comments on my productions, the ones that are there will no doubt spoil what is to come. So go into full screen mode and let me show you this, because I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. I believe I've made a WoW discovery that literally no one else has ever found. No matter how much I try to look it up, there's never any results. No DuckDuck searches, no YouTube videos, nothing. And that's pretty damn surprising, considering this is a game from 2004 that we're talking about here. This is the vanilla WoW world map. As you can see, there's only two continents, Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. Let me ask you a question. Out of all the zones in these two continents, which one is the most forgettable? I'll give you a few seconds to think.
I have no idea. Both are forgettable.
Alright, time's up. I imagine that the vast majority of people probably answered with Desolus, Silithus, Alterac Mountains, Deadwind Pass, you know, the usual suspects. But there's one zone in vanilla WoW that literally everyone knows about, but is almost universally forgotten. And that zone is Stone Talon Mountains. Stone Talon Mountains is a contested zone that shares a border with the Barrens and Desolus. The fact that it's a contested zone is quite interesting in of itself.
I think it'd be wise for me to know about WoW.
Level horde quests available here, for Alliance players, there's almost nothing at all. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that if you're an Alliance main like me, you've probably never even been here before. The zone itself has an extremely unusual design, and there really is nothing else like it in the game. It's essentially one giant valley that connects to 3 different open chasms that are completely different to one another.
STDs!
Due to the zone's odd layout and frustrating quests, even many horde players tend to skip it entirely when leveling. But I'm not here to talk about the zone or even its quests, but something much weirder. We all know that WoW has a day-night cycle that is in sync with the server's time zone. If it's daytime in real life, then it will be daytime in game too. If it's nighttime in real life, then it will be nighttime in game too. A zone's atmosphere can change significantly depending on whether it's day or night, but this is true especially for Stone Talon Mountains. During the day, Stone Talon Mountains just looks and feels like a pretty typical looking place. A bit of trees here, a bit of grass there, but at night, this zone and the way it feels to be in it almost completely changes. From the hours of midnight to 5 AM, music no longer plays in the zone. Instead, all you can hear is this strange wind ambience that sounds really freaky.
From 5 AM.
What's weirder is that at night, the entire zone has this creepy red tint to it for seemingly no reason, and there's a ton of fog that limits how far you can see. Not sure if you can really notice it here, but the difference when it's daytime is really, well, night and day. Now obviously when I first discovered this, I was confused just as much as you probably are. Why is it like this? No other zone has effects like these at night. It just seems weird. And again, no matter how much I looked into it, no one had an answer. But that's not even why I'm making this, because yeah, it's weird, but it could just be some sort of attempt at atmospheric immersion. No, I'm making this because of a strange phenomenon that kept happening to my character here. If you know me, then you'll know that I'm pretty much nocturnal, as in seriously nocturnal. I'm always up at night and in the early hours of the morning because that's just how I like it. As a result, whenever I play WoW, it's always in the dark. That's how I noticed how weird Stone Talon Mountains was in the first place. In classic WoW, I had an orc warrior called Warzerk that I would occasionally level up to see what the Horde side of the game was like. Just a way to relax and see what I would have otherwise missed out on my Alliance main. Stone Talon Mountains was one of the zones I ended up leveling in. I remember being taken aback at what a weird, almost psychedelic dreamscape the zone felt like. It reminded me of somewhere where a nightmare would take place, but again, I didn't think anything of it until this happened. This is a screenshot I took at 2:14 AM on the 20th of October 2020. I'm in the Windshear Crag part of the zone, and as you can see, my character is dead. You're probably thinking that a mob must have got me or something, but no. The reason I took this screenshot is because my character just died, instantly,
Can it be
for
a
no
glitch?
reason whatsoever. I was just running around doing some quest when he just dropped dead. At first I thought that maybe a high-level rogue had got me, then vanished or something, but I didn't see any. And according to my combat log, nothing happened. He just died. I kept this screenshot because I thought I would put it in a future production of mine, as at the time there was a lot of uproar
This is
about
making
how
me feel
badly
uneasy.
Blizzard maintained classic WoW, with there being a ton of bots and gold sellers flying around. I figured it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for there to be bugs like this too, as, after all, this is Blizzard we're talking about here. Either way, I rezzed up and carried on with my questing before heading off for the night. 24 hours later, and I am, once again, questing in the Windshear Crag. Everything was going smoothly, until once again, bam. It happened again. Instant death, no combat log, just dead.
But glitches happen, right? Like, fam, like...
I had never experienced anything quite like this. I mean, yeah, WoW could be buggy, but it's never been this bad. I looked back at the screenshot I took the night before and noticed something really unusual. The time of death on both shots was exactly the same.
Okay, now that's getting creepy.
2:14 AM. That was just way too much of a coincidence to ignore. I tried to make a post on r/classicwow to ask if anyone knew what kept happening to my character, but it got removed and then I was banned for no reason. So, yeah, pretty standard.
Like Illuminati and that.
I decided that this was way too much of a coincidence to ignore, so I conjured a plan. The next night, at 2:14 AM, I would have my recorder on, just in case my character died again, so that I would have proof of
Don't say he dies again.
this weird bug in action. The following is what I captured.
2:14 is alive. Why do I feel there's a jump scare gonna come? Silly does, man, you're putting some kind of juju shit into my flipping...
Nothing.
Huh? So it's
I
alive?
waited around for a few minutes longer, but it just wasn't happening. I figured that it really must have been just a weird coincidence. Feeling disappointed, I turned off my recorder and carried on questing. But then, boom. It happened again. This time at 2:47 AM.
2:47!
3 deaths in a row on 3 different days. But why was this one at a different time than the others? The only difference I noticed between the last shot and the first 2 is that on the last one, I was at the Charred Vale part of the zone, whereas with the first 2, I was in the Windshear Crag. So, I had another idea. What if I went to the Windshear Crag at 2:14 AM and had my recorder
This is
on
getting
then
interesting, fam.
instead? Maybe there, it would happen again. So, once again, I set my character there and waited.
Surely you can't die 4 times. Yo, Jumbo, that's for you. 2:14 is alive. Does he fall? Yo, the moves and that. He died!
Holy shit.
No!
I now had video evidence of this so-called bug
Like his soul got removed and shit.
in action.
Oh, unless that's how you normally die in WoW.
But honestly, at this point, I was starting to think there has to be something more to this. Out of curiosity, I wondered that if I went to the Charred Vale at 247 again, if it would happen there too. Sure enough, it did.
He died again there at 247. This can't be a coincidence, right?
2:14 AM in the Windshear Crag and 2:47 AM in the Charred Vale. I didn't know what it was, but for some reason, at those times, my character would always just drop dead. It was as if there was an invisible GM playing some sort of practical joke or something like that. But we're not done yet.
He looks like Zangief.
Yet. At the very top of the zone lies the third chasm, the Stone Talon Peak. A very leafy and soothing place compared to the other two. I wondered if the weird deaths occurred there too. Sure enough, they did. 2:28 AM. I tested this again the next day, and it happened yet again. 2:14 AM.
Fam, any of you dudes play WoW? Fam, did it happen to you?
In the Windshear Crag. 2:47 AM in the Charred Vale. 2:28
I don't play PC games, you get me?
in the Stone Talon Peak. Every night, at those times, my character would die without failure or explanation. It would never happen in the valley part of the zone, only in the chasms at those exact times. This wasn't a coincidence at this point. I tried to see if anyone else was in the zone at the same time as me, but literally no one ever was. Not too surprising, as this character is on Dragonfang, which is, yeah, a very dead server to say the least. None of my friends still played, so I couldn't exactly ask them to get a subscription just to test this. And whenever I would ask other people to come to Stone Talon Mountains so that I could watch them drop dead, they were surprisingly uncooperative. I decided to do some hardcore research to see if anyone else had noticed this, scrubbing almost the entire internet for even a nugget of information. But alas, nothing. Well, nothing, except that 2 years ago, back when Classic WoW launched, an old Blizzard developer who had long since left the company, Mike Crond, did a Q&A on the r/WoW subreddit, whereby he answered people's questions about what it was like developing the vanilla game. In his opening remarks, he mentioned that he was behind zones such as Desolus, Feralas, Ashenvale, and Stone Talon Mountains.
The one where he
Despite
died?
the Q&A being 2 years ago now, I noticed that Mike was very active on Reddit, albeit almost always posting about non-WoW related stuff. Now, I'm not usually one to pry, but man, if anyone knew what was going on here, it would be this guy, and I'm in way too deep to quit now. I just had to ask.
He made this his life goal,
So
fam.
I did. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea how to open a conversation with a guy who I don't know, and who doesn't know me. I'm not a journalist, I'm a WoW player. By nature, I'm very antisocial and tend not to talk to people unless they talk to me. But this guy wasn't just gonna talk to me by himself, so I decided to try to play it cool. Didn't want to come off as too
Start with
pushy
how
or
your
anything
day
like
been,
that.
mate?
So I said, "Hey there, is it true you worked on Vanilla WoW back in the day?" Honestly, I didn't expect to get an answer, but shockingly enough, he responded almost instantly. Yup. Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. The ice was broken. I just had a question about one of the zones. Nothing serious, just some trivia that I wondered if you could answer. 2 minutes later, shoot. Talkative guy. I've been on Classic WoW recently and leveling up in Stone Talon Mountains. I've noticed that for some reason, my character dies at set times in the early hours of the morning for seemingly no reason. I know it sounds bonkers, but do you have any idea why that is? It's been driving me crazy for days now. After I asked this, the guy just went completely silent.
The fucker knows, fam.
I'll be honest, I was pretty pissed off. If anyone would know why, it would be this guy, and he just bailed on me for no
You won't say something if you're hiding something. You know what I mean, fam?
reason. I figured that all hope was lost and that I'd never know what was behind this. And with my limited audience, there was no way I could make a big enough deal out of it to try to get people to figure it out. So, case closed, I guess.
You better give us the answer to it.
Also, I thought. I am not joking with you. 10 months later,
He replied 10 months later.
I get another message from Mike. The message literally just said, the SoCal lady killer.
What? Who's the SoCal lady killer?
I'm like, what? No response. Guy just goes completely quiet again. The SoCal lady killer? What the heck was that? I thought that perhaps he had meant to message someone else and this was sent to me by accident. Decided to look into it and this is what came up. The SoCal lady killer is the nickname given to an unidentified serial killer.
Unidentified
He was
serial killer?
believed to be behind the murder of 3 women in Southern
This person existed!
California throughout the years of 1995 and 1996. Though there is no direct evidence that links the 3 murders together, the modus operandi of the killer was seemingly identical in all of the cases, with the victims' bodies being mutilated in an almost identical fashion each time. The 3 women, all of which were prostitutes, were believed to be lured to a secluded area by the killer, whereby they were then murdered. Again, I had no idea what this had to do with what I asked.
What the
Until
fuck?
I read this part. The first victim was 28-year-old Whitney Fangson. On the 2nd of August...
Don't tell me the body was found at 217 or something like... You're silly us, fam. Don't even tell me what I'm thinking, fam. I feel like my observation hacky kicked in.
1995, her body was found on the outskirts of the Windshear lumber mill.
Oh!
Police reports state that she was officially declared dead at 2...
Dude, fam! Holy shit! This is no coincidence, fam!
2:14 a.m. 4 months later, on the 5th of December 1995, 25-year-old Sophie Riven was found in an almost identical state at a hotel room in the nearby village of Los Chared.
Oh my
Police
God.
reports state that she was declared dead at 2:47 a.m. The third and final victim was 32-year-old Amy Rassan, who 2 months later, on the 17th of February 1996, was found dead by climbers at the base of Sokol Peak. Police reports state that she was declared dead at 2:28 a.m. Windshear Lumber Mill was the basis for Windshear
Bam! Whoever plays WoW, uninstall that shit!
Crag. Los Chared was the basis for the Charred Vale. Sokol Peak was the basis for Stone Talon Peak. In addition, the timing of the victims' deaths correlate exactly with the timing of my characters. The mystery had been solved. The seemingly random deaths are an Easter egg referencing the SoCal lady killer.
No! Easter eggs, fam! What the fuck? That's a horror, fam! Why would you want an Easter egg? Why would you want an Easter egg reference that?
But that's a pretty weird Easter egg, don't you think?
Weird ain't the word, fam!
I went to ask Mike what on earth made him want to add that in the game, but again, I got no response. But this time, it was different. You see, in the past when I was blanked, Mike was still actively using Reddit obsessively on a daily basis.
Oh, then he stopped.
But ever since that last message, he had stopped completely. Not many people know this, but the state of California actually has an online public database of all its residents that states basic information about them, such as their criminal record, driving viability, and yes, whether they are dead or alive. Well, you're never gonna believe what I found. Michael John Crond, 54, death by suicide. On the 13th of August 2021, the exact same day that he last messaged me.
Huh? What? The person that gave the message? Wait, man, am I tripping?
Since that last message, he had stopped completely. Not many people know this, but the state of California actually has an online public database of all its residents that states basic information about them, such as their criminal record, driving viability, and yes, whether they are dead or alive. Well, you're never gonna believe what I found. Michael John Crond, 54, death by suicide.
What? This is the craziest shit I ever watched!
On the 13th of August 2021, the exact same day that he last messaged me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Crond, World of Warcraft developer from 2004 to 2006, was the SoCal Lady Killer. Stone Talon Mountains, a zone which he designed, is nothing more than a direct reference to the crimes he committed 10 years prior to joining Blizzard. It is an open mockery of his victims, hiding the truth in plain sight while taking great pleasure in how no one else can see it. Typical serial killer behavior.
No way! Tell me this is not the craziest shit you watched!
But if you aren't convinced yet, then let me show you this. Every single chasm has a rare mob that is a direct reference to one of the victims. Whitney Fangson died outside of the Windshear lumber mill. Meanwhile, in the Windshear Crag, there's an NPC called Taskmaster Whipfang. Sophie Riven died in Lost Charred. Meanwhile, in the Charred Vale, there's an NPC called Sister Riven. Amy Rassan died on the base of Sokol Peak. Meanwhile, in the Stone Talon Peak, there's an NPC called Sentinel Amma Rassan. The cherry on top. In the only safe place in the entire zone, the Sunrock Retreat, is an NPC called Crond. Crond, the Butcher.
Crond, man! The dude.
So the question you're probably asking yourself is, why? Why would he commit suicide? Well, the answer becomes crystal clear if we go back to the SoCal Lady Killer's wiki page. It reads, after being a cold case for over 25 years, on the 2nd of August 2021, LAPD Police Chief Ed Jens announced that the SoCal Lady Killer case had been reopened due to advances in forensic technology that may help finally bring the victims some justice. Mike Crond knew that he was about to be found out. Thus,
so
he ended his own life as to escape justice. But folks, do you want to know the worst part about all of this?
The worst part you already said?
The worst part is, I just made all that up. Mike Crond is not a serial killer.
Silly DOS! What the fuck? You call man the biggest troll ever!
Killer.
Man, you fam! I look like an idiot! Man, silly DOS, man! Yeah, bam! Honest to God, if that was anyone else, I would have blocked you! Oh my lord, man.
In fact, Mike Crond isn't even real.
He's a fucking imaginary character.
Hell, his picture isn't even real. It was generated by an AI. There's no such thing as the SoCal Lady Killer, and my character didn't even die randomly in the Stone Talon Mountains.
What's the fucking point of making this video, you waste man?
I just got a friend of mine to use the neutral auction house to trade me a dark rune. Hell, even the character isn't even the same. So, the question you must be asking is, why? Why did I make up this entire story?
This guy better have
Well, you see,
like a million
it's
dislikes.
simple. If I can come up with an interesting and somewhat believable story that grips people enough to keep them listening for 20 minutes, about the pissing Stone Talon Mountains no less, then Blizzard has no excuse to not write a good story of their own, especially with their ridiculously overpaid writing team at their disposal. Dear
Couldn't you find a better way to do it?
WoW lore team, get it together, you absolute amateurs.
Yo, fam, I've never been this trolled in my existence. I feel like taking off the stream. I'm not even trolling, fam. What the fuck, man? Celiados, man. I never knew you, that fam, you would come out with that. This man, I swear to God, man, I feel like I'm being flipping groped, like flipping violated. I can't believe it, fam. I can't believe it. It was believable, man. Like, fam, creepy shit happens. And since it's a PC game, PCs have very weird, like, you know, like mods and shit. I thought maybe it's believable. Oh, man. I swear to God, fam, I feel violated, you know. I was so into the video, boys. Like, honestly, man, I was hooked. Like, fucking watching One Piece and shit. No wonder don't read the comments. He was focusing so much and don't read the comments. But he knows in the comments, oh my, this guy, man, oh, study us, man. You know what, man? Don't talk to me. Oh, man. Yo, Christian love, man, just so because of this video, such, oh man, your Moki love, man. Thank you. The moment the guy said don't read comments, I said I just kept saying keep watching, you could pick it up. It was, no, the funny thing is, Celidas has never ever done that. Like, fam, if this came from like nature or somebody, I wouldn't even like, fam, I never expected Celidas to do it. I didn't. Jokes aside, fam, you know, I'm not even trolling, you know, about halfway through the video, I feel like, yo, this would be like a cool video, like maybe just upload on YouTube as a separate, like, you know, as a video. But then, fam, now they ended and, yo, fam, you can't freaking pay me enough to upload this shit, man. Celidas. Oh, Celidas, man. This. One sec, boys. For your troubles. Oh, Celidas, man. Love, man. But, fam, like, jokes aside, the video was so, like, you know, at this point into the video here, because suicide and everything, fam, you're hooked like a magnet. But yeah, man. Yeah, Celidas, thank you, man. Thank you, fam. God's sake, man. Panda Lunch. Yeah, man, you must upload it to your channel. Don't read the comments, because he knows. Never 20 minutes of critique, I had my edge of my... It's true, fam, you were at the edge of your seat. Fam, not one person in the comments said, yo, can't, it's a troll video or something. All you guys went along with it. But there must have been someone else in the chat that fell for it, not only me. Come on, man. I know now that we know the video is alive, fam, you guys are gonna go along with the flow. Go, no, I already knew. Fuck, half of you guys didn't know. Don't give me that waffle.
ナイスです。メタルだよ。メタルオーバー。デロデロでブニブニメタルオーバー。なんかね。何が始まるの？ジューシー唐揚げナンバーワン。あなたのバナナすっごくデロデロでブニブニだったよ。味もないし。